Alrighty, what's going on, everybody? So I got another video, and we're gonna be changing it up a little bit. Same style of video you guys are used to, but I'm gonna be throwing in a little bit of Counter-Strike here. It's like my all-time favorite game, and I'd be doing it injustice if I wasn't putting out some content like this for Counter-Strike. So we're gonna take a little while. We're gonna go back a little bit to IEM Rio 2024, and we're gonna be looking at a Furia versus Mouz game here on Dust 2. So just quick recap for this game. Furia beat Mouz here 2-1 and absolutely decimate Mouz on this Dust 2. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and play out this round. We're going to run it back, and then I'm going to give you a brief explanation as to what's happening here. The things you do need to know for this is a 2-2-1 for Furia on this default, and we're going to see some widespread map control that leads into a lurk kill entry, a lurk smoke being used as a way to open up the site for an entry kill onto B site, and then a completely unguarded site. So we're going to play it through in its entirety. I'm going to make a couple comments as the round plays out, and then I'm going to go kind of break it down as to like the specifics of everything that's going on here. So we're going to see two B main players making some presence towards B main, a couple players down mid. K-Serrato is going to be up mid aggressive to take advantage of this cross smoke that Mouse Sports has been throwing. And then you have Yuri towards A-Long, just keeping the A-Long players kind of honest. K-Serrato comes out mid, he dies, he gets one, gets traded out. Skulls creeps through a lurk smoke, finds himself a kill onto B site, and now the B site is completely empty. And yes, Yuri died towards A, but Yuri's main job was just to keep the A players there for a while. He doesn't really try. He's not actually trying to take A. If anything, it's a mistake that he died. But it's also not like the end of the world either. So now we have a completely open bomb site. And Furia is going to go into a post plant, and then Mouz is just going to be forced to retake. And how this round really plays out really doesn't matter. The point of the fact of the matter is the execute or the play that they worked or that they ran worked. So I'm going to go ahead and explain the little pieces of utility and as to what's going on here. So we're going to go from left to right, and we're going to explain like on the mini map. We're going to go from left to right and just talk about what's going on here. So right off rip, we have Skulls and who is this? Cello. Skulls and Cello are going to be working towards B tunnels just to make some presence. Make sure that no one's ran up tunnels early. K-Serrato's kind of there in middle to make sure that doesn't happen as well, but they want to confirm, right? Make sure no one's in tunnels, and then we're making presence. All we're doing is just making some map presence. We're going to throw this lurk smoke out and just keep one of the B players honest and towards tunnels. In the meanwhile, Skulls is going to creep through this lurk smoke thrown by Cello and find himself an entry kill. And then boom, the site is completely opened up. We're going to run it back here. Again, Cello is going to be throwing that lurk smoke for Skulls, and he's just making noise. Skulls doesn't even want to let them know that there's two players in tunnels. Ideally, when you run this sort of play, you want the support player to make all the noise. Do all the spamming, do all the nade throws, all the footsteps. You want to try to keep it like, oh, this guy's just kind of here making noise. Like you want the CT to almost drop their guard, not really let them know that there's a second player in tunnels. So this smoke is going to come out, and it just kind of looks like a botched like B-side smoke. The spam coming in, Gympad doesn't find anything, and more utilities coming out. Gympad's just kind of convinced that like, okay, like this guy is in tunnels. It's one guy. You see, he looks over to the left-hand side of the smoke, so it's like he's probably aware that this is in Furia's playbook. But it's really hard to play against because even if he knows that lurk smoke is there, he doesn't exactly know if somebody's in the smoke or not. And he can't just sit there and hold the left side of the smoke because Cello could easily run out on him. He's throwing enough utility. He's flushing him out of different spots. It's a really awkward site for a solo defender to be in. And Skull's going to creep out and find himself a kill. And then Cello's just going to run in and take the site. So let's take a look at what's going on here towards middle now. So we're going to have Fallen and K-Serrato work their way up middle. Mouse Sports throws a cross smoke. And check out that frag nade that I believe Fallen throws. Yeah, Fallen throws this frag grenade early. So I'm not 1,000% sure why he throws this grenade. I believe the intention here is to use it to like almost mask that K-Serrato's running up. Yeah, that's exactly what that is. So in the off chance that Mouse Sports doesn't use that smoke to cross and they peek down middle with an op, they use that frag grenade, basically the dirt that comes up, the smoke from the actual explosion to cover K-Serrato's advance. Then you're going to see the molly towards mid doors to make sure one of the CTs doesn't run up tunnels early, run through doors early to get into tunnels. So Fallen's main job is now to play like anti-op. He's going to throw a molly towards Cat to deny an aggressive Cat push, and then he's just kind of like counter-opping. He's just making sure no one's here to peek K Serrato. Now in the meanwhile, K Serrato is kind of gifted like the perfect scenario. Mouz Sports is using this smoke to cross, so he knows that he's got probably some leeway to just run it down middle and get up into the CT half of the map through doors. So he's going to make his way up. And K Serrato's main job here is to pull one of the B defenders away. If he can kill one, fantastic. If not like the end of the world. The idea is he wants to pull one of the B defenders away and have Fallen throw supporting utility so he can take an advantageous fight. So the ideal is for K Serrato to win his 1v1, but in the off chance he doesn't, it still allows room for the B players to come out and achieve their goal with relative success, right? The idea is to put the B site defender in a 2v1 situation. So K Serrato comes through smoke and wins his duel, and a smoke comes through to CT. The ideal here is to split the site, but K Serrato does get dropped, so like the smoke doesn't come in early enough, or he peeks the opening a little too early. He gets dropped, and like he's just traded out. But at that point, he's already done his job. He pulled the secondary B site player away, and is now allowed his teammates to open up the B site almost uncontested. And then the last part we're going to talk about is Yuri's part. Yuri's really not doing like a whole lot for this play. He's just there to like be a distraction, be a nuisance, keep the A players honest. So you're going to see he's going to throw 2 flashes over the top of A long. He's going to throw himself a lurk smoke to come out here. Some counter utility coming from the CTs, and he's here just to kind of be annoying. He's here to show presence, to keep the A players honest. And the camera kind of pans away from him for a while, so we're not able to see much from Yuri. But Yuri's here just to be annoying and to keep the CTs from like pushing into doors early, right? Because the obvious reaction is, oh, if there's utility coming down mid and there's utility tunnels, we should just run up A long. So Yuri's there to kind of counteract that. I believe he got a little over ambitious coming through the smoke to lurk, but then again, it's up to Yuri and his play style. If he feels like, they've ran this play before and he feels like he has a decent success rate with getting that opening kill, then, by all means go for it. Personally, I'm a little more passive. I probably would have sat in the doors and just made presence with utility, but Furia is running it the way they're running it, right? And Yuri gets killed by, who is this? I believe, I can't even read it because it's so blurry on my end. But the number 4 player out of Mouz Sports comes through a smoke, a little bit of an ambitious play, and punishes Yuri. I do think Mouz was aware that this was in Furia's playbook, as I mentioned before. You see Jimpack kind of looking at the left side of this smoke, and you can see that the Mouz player that ran through the A long smoke kind of did so intentionally. So I think they knew that Furia was going to run this. And they were kind of like aware of that fact, and they tried to counter it. And even with them countering it and knowing exactly what was going to happen, they still weren't able to come out on top on this round, or at least in the actual like execution phase of this round. So yeah, I know it's a little more long-winded than the other videos, but I still thought it was really cool. And hopefully something you guys can run in some of your ECA matches, or if you're a duo queue or a 3-stack, you can definitely use it in a pug. I definitely think this is like a one and done style of play. You're probably only going to be able to run this like once or twice in an official match before teams crack wise. And pickup games, it's kind of depends on who you're playing. If they're not paying attention, you could probably run this lurk smoke or there's like this default pretty frivolously and not be punished for it. But play by ear. All right, yeah, I think it's a cool play. Hopefully you'll be able to add it to your individual playbooks, and I'll see you around.